guys, welcome to the Bleacher Preacher podcast. Today joined with Mario, Rob, and myself, John. We're going to be talking about Wildcard weekend, the NFL getting started here. What do we think about the matchups this weekend, guys?
So the first matchup we're starting with is Tennessee at Kansas City. Kansas City is a 7-point favorite. Who are we looking at, Mario? Who do you like?
For me, I got Kansas City. I don't know if Tennessee can catch up with the Chiefs anymore because I don't think with their run game, the way DeMarco and Derrick Henry are not living up to the hype this year compared to last year when those two dynamic duos were simply amazing with DeMarco taking the work and then Derrick Henry just running in for the end zone.
I just wish that they would use Derrick Henry more. But other than that, Mariota's had a down year this year. Corey Davis was kind of a bust. Granted, he was injured. I want to see Corey Davis show up, but I really don't think their offense can stay with the Kansas City offense. Too much playmakers on Kansas City side, in my opinion, so I'm taking the Chiefs.
Well, with Tennessee, they have to first off shorten the game as much as possible and essentially play keep away from the Chiefs' offense. With Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray, you have the ability to not only effectively pound the rock for the entire game, but you can keep the ball out of the Chiefs' offense and limit the big plays that they can hold against you. So Tennessee can still win this game. It's just a matter if they're going to stay committed to not only run the ball, but the quick, short, efficient passing game that you do get out of Marcus Mariota. Next matchup we're looking at is the Rams and the Falcons. Atlanta coming off a disappointing end to their season last year, and for the Rams, this is a lot of players' first venture into the playoffs. You have a rookie head coach, a young quarterback, and overall a young core. So how are we feeling about the Rams possibly pulling an upset here?
I don't think it'd be the Rams pulling an upset. I think the Rams are favorite in this one. I do, however, am going with the Falcons. With Julio Jones, it's Julio Jones versus Todd Gurley, and who can make the better plays. And I just think that Atlanta's offense is a little bit better, a little bit more playmakers than what LA has. And I think Atlanta's defense is better than LA's defense.
When I see the Rams, I see when I see the Rams and the Falcons, I see the Rams being the younger version of the Falcons, just not polished, just not ready. I basically see Todd Gurley and Devontae Freeman basically being the same person and seeing them slowly but surely grow into pretty much seeing Gurley evolve into Freeman and also with Goff evolving into Matt Ryan. It's basically the younger versions of themselves playing against each other.
Atlanta just has to get out their own way. Having Sarkisian as offensive coordinator going from Shanahan to Sarkisian has been a very tough transition. They have the weapons. Nobody really changed on personnel wise. It's just the scheme, and you just got to get the ball to Julio. Worst comes to worst, just get the ball to Julio.
And that's not a bad player to get the ball to. Julio Jones is a world-class talent at wide receiver, and the Falcons have been getting away from it at times this year. And there was a stretch where Julio wasn't putting up numbers we used to, and it's kind of like the Falcons need to re-believe in what they were and what made them so great last year. Having the amount of weapons they have, they should be able to put up points against this Ram team. And even though, like we said, the Rams being favored, I don't see the Rams being able to hang with the Falcons in this kind of situation.
I see it with the offensive coordinator, like Rob said as well. Like I see he's still getting used to having, let's say, Julio Jones is probably top 5 receiver in the league, and him still trying to work out the kinks for the whole team. As you can see, Matt Ryan didn't play up to his potential this year as he was last year as the MVP, but you can see that they're slowly trying to get it to work together as they did last year.
I think Atlanta has enough speed on defense to stop any of their trick plays that they have with Tavon Austin. I think Atlanta has is going to generate a lot more pressure, and they'll be able to rattle Goff. This is Goff's first playoff appearance, his second year in the league, so we'll see how that shakes out. With the Rams, them winning, it has to be a big game from Todd Gurley, and it has to be a big game from Aaron Donald.
And having a talent like Aaron Donald, like leading your defense, you're going to need him to make plays for most of that game. So if he isn't able to get you pressure and to disrupt that Atlanta offense, we could see some problems for them all night. Point that isn't being made either. This is the Rams' first primetime game since moving out to LA, so I don't know if that's going to play a factor, but that's something I'm going to pay attention to.
It's going to be pretty cool, though, being in LA. Them seeing the Coliseum load up all those people. They've been waiting for that for a long time. Hopefully it goes out good for them.
Alrighty, and moving on to the Sunday games. Sunday morning, we'll have the Buffalo Bills heading down to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which a lot of people did not expect to hear for Wildcard weekend, but here we are. Buffalo, getting some help to get into the playoffs at the end of the season, and the Jaguars kind of starting off strong and riding a really good defense into January. So what do you guys expect from a game that not many people are able to get a pulse on right now?
Well, we have Blake Bortles starting a playoff game at home. When did you ever think those words were going to be put into a sentence? Not a big
blows my
chance.
mind.
Yeah.
Maybe a worse percentage than the Bills making the playoffs. The Bills had a 15% chance of making the playoffs, and with help, they're in. They got a lot of momentum. They got a lot of magic going on. I believe in magic, but that Jaguars offense is very tough. We have Shady McCoy injured.
Who might not be 100% at all, or might not even play at all.
He will be limited.
Now, when you're sitting here going up against the Jacksonville defense, not the offense, that's, like you said, a very scary front seven that can not only generate pressure, but just disrupt everything you want to do. And Buffalo runs a very unique offense that's tailored for Tyrod Taylor, but is he going to be
back?
That's a problem. He's not going to be able to run around and make these plays. They're very thin at wide receiver. Charles Clay isn't going to be an all-world tight end, so this is going to be a game for Buffalo to really get creative and try and keep Jacksonville off balance. And maybe you need Blake Bortles to give you a gift or two or three.
That is the only way I see Buffalo winning this game. The only way Buffalo is going to win this game is if Blake Bortles wins them the game by causing mass turnovers.
Which he very well can. It is Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles just has to protect the ball and just not mess up.
Blake Bortles needs to turn around and give the ball to Leonard Fournette.
And that's exactly what I was thinking, is they need to make this as simple for him as possible and not have him take control of this game or put it in his hands. Last matchup of the weekend is a real good one. We have the Panthers heading down to New Orleans. Divisional matchup, teams that know each other really, really well. New Orleans did take both games from the Panthers this year, so do we see the Panthers going down to the Big Easy and upsetting Drew Brees and the Saints?
I think it's going to be really, really close. Just like both games have been really close when they played against each other. And Cam's getting back to camp form, finally being healthy. They've been on a big roll. It's just they need all their weapons to step up, all the defense, just to guard their guys. Just they have to play the perfect amount of football.
The Saints are my dark horse to come out of the NFC. The defense has actually been very solid this year, surprisingly. Their offense with Alvin Kamara moving away from Adrian Peterson, those first month that experiment didn't work and going to Alvin Kamara almost full time has worked wonders for him. Drew Brees doesn't have to do a lot. He set the NFL record for completion percentage. And his pass attempts are down. I think he's had 100 less pass attempts this year than what he had last year. And I just think them having a well-balanced offense will harken to the days of the Reggie Bush run when they ran Reggie Bush to the Super Bowl. So I think Alvin Kamara is going to break out in the playoffs. We're going to be talking a lot about Alvin Kamara.
I think with the Panthers, though, you have Cam regaining his MVP form, and that is a very dangerous offensive weapon for the Panthers to use. Not only was he one of their most efficient rushers, he was one of their best overall weapons. And now that you're finally finding your groove with Funchess, McCaffrey, and Olsen, this is going to be a dangerous team. And it is very hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in one season. So I know it's in the Dome. It gets loud. The Saints are a different beast in the Superdome, but I'm not counting out Cam and the Panthers yet. So we could see a really good shootout, and with this much at stake, I think both teams are coming to play.
So who are we taking, John? You taking Panthers or Saints?
I think I'm going to have to go with Cam and the Panthers. I think they still have a lot to prove, and with Cam getting healthy and hitting his stride, I'm like you picked your dark horse. Mine are the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints. I'm not taking the points. They are -6, but I'm going with the Saints.
Gotta go with the favorite team, the Saints. I think they're gonna get it. It's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be really, really close.
All right, and just to close out, I just want to get your guys' X factors going into this wildcard weekend. My big point is coaching and how much it can mean for some of these teams. With the Rams having a rookie head coach, he completely changed the culture and the attitude of that Rams team. So from getting them from a consistent 7-9 team to a contender out of the NFC, that's a big point for me.
Well, Jeff Fisher being the coach and going from Jeff Fisher to Sean McVay, that adds 3 wins right there. It's Jeff Fisher.
To me, it's gonna be Todd Gurley. Obviously, him catching the ball, him running the ball. Obviously, Carolina has a big, big problem with him. So, I hope LA, can pull it out and get this victory.
All right, so we are definitely in for a very entertaining wildcard weekend. We'll see you guys at the conclusion and see you in the divisional round.
Peace.
Bye.